Had St Johnstone watched and have spent hours looking at video clips of the Perth team in action, hoping to spot defensive flaws. There are no rash predictions from the Highland club, just promises of all-out effort.
It's going to be very difficult for us. I mean, we've been widely quoted through the media in the fact that this is our cup final. Well, that's true, but you know, funny things can happen in cup finals. It's a cup game, and we have a proud tradition in the Scottish Cup, so we're giving up nothing. We're going to go out there and give 100%. And at the end of the day, it's 10 outfield players against 10 outfield players. We're hopeful.
Charlie Christie and Billy Urquhart, with their top-grade experience, are obviously going to be valuable.
Oh, very valuable indeed. Billy's had a tremendous amount of experience playing European Cup, and I mean, he's obviously very important to our preparations this week. And Charlie, with his, I mean, he's bubbling at the moment. Obviously, I mean, he's looking forward to the game very much, and the two of them are actually keeping the whole thing bubbling nicely for us.
Well, it definitely helps you, knowing that you've competed at that level, and obviously it holds you in good stead when you come up against these players. Knowing you've played against full-time players before, you've had full-time training, it's always nice, and psychologically you like to think you're still good enough.
Top scorer Billy Urquhart is fighting to get fit for the tie. He's been getting treatment every day on injured ribs. The ex-Ranger says this could be his last season, so what could a quarter-final place mean to him?
Oh, it would mean a lot to me. I think Elgin are the only team in the Highland League ever to have reached that stage, and I've been with Caley now for going on 20 years. It'd be great to emulate that, the Elgin team of the 60s.
Saints boss Alex Totten knows full well what to expect at Telford Street. He was at Ibrox when Rangers dished out a 6-0 hammering to Caley some years ago, and was boss at Alloa when they won 2-1.
I think the record speaks for itself. You know, they went to Stenishmuir in the early round and beat them 4-1. They beat Clyde 3-1, and last couple of Saturdays they've sent Tommy Calm, their youth coach, to go and have a look at them. They beat Elgin 3-0, they beat Brawler 3-0, so obviously they're playing very well. They are a good side, so we've got to give them the utmost respect, and I say it'll be a very hard game, and we've got to be our very best to get through.
The Aberdeenshire town of Huntly is Cup alive.
Well, there's certainly cup fever among the Caley faithful gathered here tonight in the Inverness Club's boardroom, and if their side beats the might of Premier Division St Johnstone tomorrow, they're promising a party the Highlands will never forget.
In Inverness, can Cup minnows Caley cause a cup upset?
Or will the big-time Saints go marching on?
In Huntly, they're whetting their appetite for the arrival of Premier Division Airdrie.
While in Glasgow, it's cup holders Motherwell against champions Rangers.
Friday Sports Scene has the best roundup of all the cup ties.
Plus the top preview of the weekend's big rugby international.
It's make or break as the Scots face Ireland in Dublin.
Yes, it's Tennent's Scottish Cup 4th round day tomorrow, and there may be bigger games than those at Inverness and Huntly, but none with more shock potential. Premier pairs St Johnstone and Airdrie have travelled north, knowing the second division trio of Dumbarton, Clyde and Stennismuir have already suffered at the hands of the so-called minnows of the Highland League. Last season's semi-finalist St Johnstone will play Caledonian here at Telford Street in front of a full house.
Good morning, Caledonian Football Club. No, I'm sorry, the tickets for the game are sold out. There's not a ticket left. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Caley striker Charlie Christie doubles as the club's commercial manager. His popularity's grown in the last couple of weeks, with the clamour for tickets for tomorrow's big game. This locally produced video captured Caley's last cup tie against Premier opposition. It was 1983, and Rangers under Jock Wallace beat the Highlanders 6-0. In this season's third round, the Inverness team showed the cup door to second division promotion hopefuls Clyde in front of a 3,500 crowd. Christie scored the opening goal that day. It's a sellout 5,500 for St Johnstone, and Caley not short of confidence.
I think the main thing is the experience. We've got boys who played 30-odd Scottish Cup appearances, and that really helps on occasions like this.
There's no one more experienced than building supplies company boss Billy Urquhart. The Caley striker is the former Ranger alongside ex-Celt Christie. Now 35, this could be Urquhart's last season. He was a scorer as well in the defeat of Clyde, but sounds a note of caution about tomorrow's game. Don't get carried away with all the pre-match publicity.
Yes, I think since the draw came out, people have been looking at the draw and saying we must have a good chance of doing something against St Johnstone, but I would counsel against over-optimism in that. St Johnstone are a Premier League side, full-time team, and we'll have to carry a fair bit of luck if we're going to progress any further.
The Perth team were just a game away from Hampden last season. This goal was little consolation in the semi-final as Dundee United won 2-1. St Johnstone quietly fancy themselves to go one better this time, but at the moment they're not looking beyond the Battle of Inverness.
We obviously had the chance last year to get to the final, and we lost in the semi-final to Dundee United. So obviously we've got to look at the tie and saying it's a team against us in the lower divisions as such, and obviously we hope to have a chance to go into the quarter-finals, and hopefully from then, because of the other ties against Premier, the Premier League teams are playing against each other, someone's got to fall.
No team wants to go up and play a Highland League team because they know how hard they're going to get it. So we're just hoping to carry on a good cup run that the team had last year and the year before, and hope we can maybe get a good draw in the quarter-finals if we do win.
In Inverness, where cup romance is alive, they see it a bit differently. The local papers are rightly excited, and watch out for next week's headlines if the battling Blues do spring a cup surprise.
Yes, I think they might enjoy a Caley win tomorrow. Now with me are the two managers, co-manager of Caley, John Docherty, and Alec Totten, of course, of St Johnstone. John, firstly, enjoy the day is the great advice, but that at this stage must be pretty difficult.
Yeah, obviously it is. As you say, there's so much happening for the club, and it is a big day. We're going to enjoy it, but then again, it's a cup tie for us, and we're going to treat it the same way as we treated all the other cup ties. Whether we enjoy it, we're going to make sure it's going to be a cup tie.
That sounds a bit worrying if they're going to treat it like the other ones, Alec.
The Highland people are great for hospitality, Rob, so I brought St Johnstone tie here for John, so don't wear it tomorrow, but you can wear it another time.
Thanks a lot.
Well, St Johnstone's no divine right to win tomorrow. We've got to play well. We've done our homework. We've scored in the last couple of games against Elgin, against Brora. They did very well, 1-3-0. They beat Stenishmuir 4-1, they beat Clyde 3-1. So they're a good side, so if we win tomorrow, we'll work for it, and they played very, very well.
John, the pitch is feeling heavy. You won't mind that too much?
Obviously, I know that Alec would maybe prepare a surface like a carpet of that, but obviously the heavier the park for us, the better chance we have. We're used to playing in these type of surfaces, and obviously it'll benefit us. But then again, it might come down to fitness, so obviously Alec's team will be the fitter of the two teams. So it'll balance itself out.
Alec, you got to the semi-final last season, and looking at the four teams who've contested the last two major finals, do you fancy yourselves for Hampden?
I hope so. You say, Rob, we got to the semi-final last season, so to get one better to go to the final would be tremendous. And I think we're a good side, but our work's got out tomorrow, so if we win, we'll have to play for it.
Gentlemen, thanks very much. Hazel.
Well, Caley isn't the only Highland League club hoping to beat Premier Division opposition tomorrow. In Huntly, the locals are also suffering from a touch of cup fever as they prepare to take on Alec MacDonald's Airdrie. Well, Chick is there now, sampling some of the hospitality in the Huntly Supporters Club.
Well, good evening from around 50 miles down the 96 round Inverness here at Huntly, the local social club, where the locals are going through a dress rehearsal of the celebrations they're sure will have to ensue after the victory they feel is coming against Airdrie tomorrow. Huntly do know something of the Scottish Cup triumph feeling because they defeated Dumbarton in the last round, and again the town is getting ready for a big party tomorrow night. The population of this scenic little town numbers just 4,000, but desperate though each and every citizen is to see the match against Airdrie, Little Christie Park couldn't house even that number. The capacity is just 3,080.
It's like gold trying to get a ticket in Huntly just now. I think it's something that's never been in Huntly before, having a problem getting tickets for a match. It's usually the other way about. And certainly there's a buzz in the town. It's not just the people connected with football, it's people outside football. If you meet someone in the street, it's all they want to talk about is football. And I think Huntly's a great place, and it's great to see it getting a wee turn of the limelight for a change.
The Butcher's is just one shop window dressed for the occasion, and the Huntly players are confident they'll be celebrating with his finest fillet steaks tomorrow night.
Come quarter to 5, I think we'll be having a steak or two, yes, definitely. I think we've got a great chance.
If Huntly were to beat Airdrie...
When we win.
When you win, all right. There would be a wee celebration at the end of that. That's the first thing you would do.
I think there could be a little sherry, yeah.
But after that, the next round, you'd fear no one.
I'd like to go to Rangers for the club. It's
money, really, that's what you've got to look forward to. If you're going to get knocked out, you want to get knocked out with the biggest club you can. There's not a bigger one than Rangers.
So you're actually start talking about the possibility of defeat for the Rangers?
Well, maybe 1-0.
But as the players travelled to Inverness on Monday night for a Highland League game against Clach, it was a sharp reminder of the bad old days from a member of the last Huntly team to play in a Scottish Cup tie. They lost 2-0 to Hamilton Accies in 1971, and the wages were breadline, or should that be potato line?
The chairman, he's a farmer, and he used to give us bags of tatties, cabbages, nips.
Well, you said there was no money for the wages?
There was no money for the wages. We got our tea after the game, and that was it again.
And Huntly's tea was out, as they say, against Clach as well. Manager Steve Patterson, known affectionately as Pelly, was sub and came on. But despite his efforts, Huntly lost 1-0.
I suppose Clach did that's what we'd maybe hoped to do to Airdrie. They sort of closed us down in every department. They stopped us playing, took the game down to a scrap, and in the end they won the scrap.
Chance of performing against Airdrie?
Well, after that there's got to be a chance, you know. I think a lot of players didn't do their cases much good, so you never know.
Really?
Well, you saw my check, you know.
What was supposed to take from that?
Sorry, 2 sitters on this side.
Another face in the crowd on Monday was Airdrie boss Alex MacDonald. His spy role has also included study of video action featuring Huntly. Now he is praying that tomorrow's viewing won't be ex-certificate.
I don't think there's any question about the cup competition is about getting into the next round, and that's what Airdrie are about to do.
A draw and a replay would do you?
Well, I don't want to draw, I want to win. I want to do it on the day. I think we'll have enough about us to do it on the day. I think the first goal's a big thing. But there would be no embarrassment to come back down and play at Airdrie.
So there we are, a town ready to celebrate tomorrow, and as you can see, Rob and Hazel, a few of the locals already under starters' orders in that particular department. They're getting ready around 25 tomorrow to give it that old club song. What about it, guys? What's the toast?
Thanks, Chick. Just a shame that scarf wasn't tied a wee bit tighter. Earlier this week, Celtic became the first team through to the quarter-finals with a dramatic 2-1 win over Dundee United. The other half of the old firm have not had happy times in the Scottish Cup in recent years. Rangers have gone out in this fourth round for the last 2 seasons. They haven't won the trophy in over a decade. Tomorrow they face the holders Motherwell at Ibrox.
It's 11 years and counting since the Scottish Cup last sat in the Ibrox trophy room. Alongside Graham Souness, Rangers manager Walter Smith has enjoyed no luck in the Cup.
I remember losing 1-0 to Hamilton Accies at Ibrox. So we've not had a particularly good run in it. I don't know why. I don't think it's hoodoos, or I don't think in the end we've just got to look at ourselves and say that possibly we haven't done well enough in it.
Rangers are guaranteed to win the Cup this year.
Because you're not there?
Because I'm not there.
I was in a few other cup finals when I was at Dundee United, and I never won any of them, so he always blamed me and I always blamed him. I don't know which of the two is. It may be the two is an ego before we won that.
But favourites they are, and after a 1-0 win over Aberdeen in the last round, the bookies make them even money to win the Cup for the first time since 1981. Rangers fans have distant memories of that day when Dundee United became their side's 4-1 victims in the final. Among the scorers, Davy Cooper, now part of the Old Boy network at Motherwell.
Yeah, I remember that game. We won eventually in the replay before goals to win. And it was ironic that day I was dropped for the Saturday game, and if Ian Redford had scored the penalty in the last minute, I wouldn't even appeared, obviously in the Tuesday night or whatever it was. Yeah, good memories though.
Hampden memories in claret and amber are far fresher for Cooper. Although his side is quoted at